Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds, and thank you for joining me for part 3 of these wet solds. And I still have more stuff to share with you that has sold in the last couple weeks, and as you can expect, I have got lots of Polly Pocket and Furby to show you because they are what are bolstering my fourth quarter sales. So let's go ahead and just get rumbling. So this is a Fulton J. Sheen Sunday Missile book, and I took a best offer of $25 for this because I do think it had some condition issues if I am remembering correctly. I paid $2 for it in an estate sale. I pick up these missiles all the time when I find them because some can sell for really big money, but a lot of them sell for a nice little decent profit. This is one of my big money Furbies. Sorry, excuse me. This is a 2005 Furby Emototronic Friend, gray pink tummy with green eyes with spoon. I do love Furbies, guys. I know that some people, they are not huge fans of Furbies, but I love them. I had the black and white spotted one when I was young, and he was definitely evil because he would talk in the middle of the night. I don't know how, but I love him. And I'm almost positive I had one of these in 2005, this version of Furby, because you really don't see these ones that frequently. And I'm pretty sure I had one of this. This is just another one of those moments where you wish you had all of your childhood toys so that you could make some money when you're older and need it. But this guy sold for $105. I picked up 24 Furbies in a lot on Facebook Marketplace, and I paid $100 for the big lot, so this one sold for $105. So everything else is profit for me, pretty much, besides fees, of course, and I had fun doing it. My family thought I was crazy because 10 of them worked right away when I put in batteries, and I think I ended up rescuing 6 or 7 of them. I can't remember exactly, but there are some tricks you can do to try and bring them back to life. I'm not willing to do the most extreme, which essentially means skinning them. If you don't know what that looks like, you should look that up on YouTube. They're terrifying when they're skinned. But I didn't want to go that far, but there are some ways where essentially you can beat them against a table, for lack of a better way to describe it. Because my partner walked in and watched me, because there is a certain way that if you hit just right on your hand, you could hear it starting to whir, and then you beat it on the back, guys. There's certain ways to try to get these guys going, and I managed to rescue a few of them, and it was so funny because he came in while I was beating the daylights out of a Furby and thought I was going crazy and said that would never work, and the Furby started talking right then. So it's like the Furby knew the Furby was defending me, and it was great. I had a lot of fun. You can still sell ones that are not working. I still listed all the ones that weren't working, and I think I've almost sold all the ones that weren't. I think I actually have. I think I had 5 officially not working, so I think 20 I was able to get going, roughly, and they still sell, not for a lot of money, but typically 15 to 20 bucks for non-working ones of the vintage. This is Wheel of Fear Ride Replacement 1996 Goosebumps One Day at Horrorland. This is for the board game, and I sold this for a best offer of $11 plus shipping. So I got the board game, and it was missing a couple little pieces, but they were like the important pieces that everybody's missing. So I decided I was going to try to part it out. The pieces have taken forever to sell. I'm okay with parting out games. I do it quite a bit, but I don't love it because they do take a very long time, but they do sell. I think I have another one to show you from a different game that sold. This is Nickelodeon 2008 Cowboy SpongeBob SquarePants 8-inch plush, and I sold him for $17.50, and I paid 50 cents for him at a garage sale. This is vintage Levi's 501 button fly straight leg jeans, women's 11C measurements, because they look tiny. I always say vintage people were small, but these sold for a best offer of 50 bucks. I got these at a yard sale. I found this along with a vintage Levi puffer jacket, which was really cool, and these sold quick once I actually got them listed, and I have just a couple bucks into them. This is vintage silhouette reverse painting swinging child scene Wallace Berry stand-up. I think these were sold in drugstores. you know, years ago because that's the stickers that I keep finding on them. I took a best offer of $12 for this. I have $1 into this, so it's a profit, but not great because it could shatter. This is a lot of 2 abalone shells, and I sold these for best offer of $25. You guys have heard me talk about seashells, that they do sell, but they do take quite a bit of time to sell. But if I can pick them up for $1 or $2, I'm going to. I slowed down a little bit just because I got so many for a while, but I definitely try to pick them up if they're $1 or $2 each. This is an Apache vinyl soft padded zippered travel storage case for pistol gun, handgun. And I sold this for a full asking of $58.95. And I have a few bucks into this, and it sold really quick within a couple weeks. This is one of those Furbies that needed some love, and I could not bring back to life, and I was not willing to skin him. And it was a 1998 Furby Giraffe Hasbro Tiger Electronics Model 7800, not working as is. And I put that because he's also missing an eye, you know, an eyelash. That's really common with the Furbies, is that glue kind of gives out. So do check for that they have those. Or just state, because I had another one I listed that's working but has a loose eyelash. It's not a huge deal to people, but do put it there that it's there. But yeah, he looks kind of funny. But he still sold for $15 very quickly. And this is Loop Spookle's lot of 6 skeins of yarn black pepper. And I have this lot along with, another lot here. Both of them are the same thing. They were just 2 separate lots of 6, and the same buyer came and bought all 12 of them. And I just refunded them the difference in the shipping, and they were very excited about that. This came from my little bulk yarn buy. I'm not going to be rich off that bulk yarn buy, but it's definitely, I've already made profit on it. This is another Polly Pocket surprise. 1993 Polly Pocket Bluebird Light Up Pizzeria Pizza Shop, complete with 4 figures. This one was funny because I thought it wasn't complete and I only had 2 figures until I started, I jostled it and realized that this top here comes off. Let me show you. I didn't know that that top came off, and 2 of them were hiding there, so it ended up being complete. So check everything on these little Polly Pocket guys. And let me see if I have the light one, the one where it's lit. Yeah, so you can see the lights on there, so I included pictures of that working. But that sold for full asking of $50. This one and the next Furby got purchased together, and this is a Tiger Furby Ladybug, red with black spots for parts not working. Make sure to make it very clear that it's not working. And he even had his little tag, so I really tried to get him to work. But he just, unfortunately, he wasn't coming back to life for me. But he still sold for $22. Along with this one. This is a Furby baby. I didn't know Furby babies were a thing. I didn't have one of those. And this sold for $19 with the other one. And I just did combined shipping again, and of course not working. So both of those together sold for about $40, even though neither were working. So still very much worth it. This guy is wild looking to me. He looks like he has lived some days. He's been drinking. He's had a hard life. But it's a Jimmy Flashing Flasher Fox Heart Wild Thing Plays Hard to Handle Light Valentine. And he was kind of fun to listen to. Do I have the video? Will this get me a copyright thing? Let's see. This isn't that important. Yep, so he's not great, but he worked. He seems a little slow, but he still sold for $20. I paid a couple dollars for him at an estate sale. Not a great buy, but he was interesting. This is Il Maquillage Powder Foundation Honeysuckle. I couldn't find this one really anywhere, so I just threw a price on it of $25. This came in my big little makeup buy where I paid about $1 a piece. I sold about 80 to 85% of that as well. Guys, I love buying collections. It has become my new favorite thing. And if I could just keep sourcing collections, I'd be the happiest camper ever, because I just dedicate myself to that for a few days, and it's a lot of fun to learn about different things. Not so much the makeup. I don't really use much makeup, but the ponies I did, the Polly Pockets, the Furbies, so much fun to do. If I had a way of sourcing all those all the time, that's all I would do. This is a Siggy Kid, Erwin the Little Patient with Organs plush stuffed anatomy doll. He took forever to sell. I paid about $1 for him, but he did sell for full asking of $15, and there's all his little plushy organs. So he was cute. I was surprised he took so long to sell, honestly. Probably 6+ months, probably 6 to 12 months. This was definitely listed 6+ months. It's a vintage 1980 Mattel My First Wheels children's train set die-cast 3-piece set. It had a little bit of playware on it, but it sold for $12. I paid $1 for this. I'm happy with those profits. I don't mind if things bring me in $10 and they take a while to sell, as long as they're not massive and they're easy to pack and store and everything. This is a Wildlife Artist Spotted Eagle Ray plush with tag. I think I paid $1 for this, and I put Reed because he had a little bit of staining that I didn't want to take off the tags. I need to get a tag gun so that I can clean stuff better. But I just put in there because most people might take off the tags, maybe. Either way, they can probably clean it themselves without taking it off. I just left that all to buyer and put that in the description. Here are more board game pieces. The Settlers of Catan, replacement pieces 96 wooden settlement cities. This board game was not complete, so I parted it out. It actually sells pretty well parted out. I've sold probably 3 or 4 lots of the stuff in there, and I think I've almost made more money than I did selling the game complete. So do keep that in mind. Sometimes you can make more parting it out, but it takes longer usually to make your money back. This is Calvin and Hobbes comic 14-inch Sitting Tiger Cat Plush Manhattan Toy Company from 1999. He's just adorable and soft, and he sold for full asking of $29. I paid $1 for him at a thrift store, and he did take 6+ months to sell. I am seeing a resurgence in my toy, like my plush stuffed animal sales, and I do think fourth quarter does have a piece to play in that. This is a Waylon Jennings, the Ramblin' Man, and it sold for a best offer of $15, and I have $1 into it. This is 2011 Hasbro Mr. Potato Head Kiss 4-figure set in box, new damaged box. If you have something that obviously most people are keeping as a collector's piece, make sure you say that box is not perfect. Think of Funkos. You need to take a bunch of pictures and show it. This I took a best offer, I think of $32. Just they're big, and to get them moving for Christmas season. I paid $7.50, so I did pay up for them, but I still made a decent profit. And they're super cool, and they were fun to have. These took forever to sell, probably 1.5 years plus. But it's a lot of 3 Squidward Patrick Mr. Krabs 2002 Nanco plush defect. And Nanco tends to be a not so wonderful quality, so I could definitely see that in these plush, but they are technically vintage and they are SpongeBob, so I knew that they would sell. That's why I just lotted them together, and finally a buyer came and paid $20 for them. I have no idea where these came from or where I got them, so I wouldn't have paid much more than $1 or $2, so I know I made a profit. This is brand new Bernat Big Blanket Yarn, 32 yards Moody Blues. It's a lot of 3 of them, and I took a best offer of $26 for them. That came from, again, my big yarn buy. This is a Bianchi leather extra large shoulder holster. I love picking up holsters, and Bianchi leather is definitely a good brand to pick up when you find these holsters. And typically you can find all the information you need on them on the piece. So it's easy to identify if that's not really something you know about. And I sold for full asking of $75. I paid up. I paid $20 at an estate sale, but it's still a really good profit, and it sold within a couple weeks. This is an antique 1920s Art Deco swing swivel frame. Fits 7 by 9.5. It had a pewter silver color. I have another one of these, but it doesn't have the glass piece. And I paid about $1 for this. I think $1 or $2 at an estate sale. I picked up this one and the other one, and it sold for a best offer of $25. This is more silverware from that same Oneida set. Just Oneida Bordeaux set of 4 glossy dinner forks, and this one sold for best offer of $30. Not all Oneida sells super high, but there are quite a few that do sell for good money, and I do check each piece as you are listing, because sometimes the spoons sell for way less, sometimes the spoons sell for more, sometimes the knives are only $12 while the forks are $20, and like, you know, it's, the prices vary, and just keep an eye out. And I think, and forks tend to always be higher just because that's what people are losing. Those are what always go missing for us. I have no idea how forks always go missing, and it's always been true for us, or in my family, so it just is what it is. And this I picked up at an estate sale for $5, and it came, or it's a Pinocchio Polonaise Christmas ornament, Kurt Adler, hand-blown glass with tag, and it did sell for the full asking, and he was adorable, and of course selling around the Christmas time. He took a couple months to sell. I think I might have shown him in that haul video from one of my big estate sale days. This is a Corona Extra beer hat cap adjustable Mexico blue gold. I couldn't find this one exact anywhere, so I threw a price on it that seemed to go along other hats that looked about like this, and I took a best offer of $12 for it. I think I paid $2 in an estate sale. Here's another Furby. It's a vintage 1998 Furby 7800, gray, white belly, pink ears, blue eyes. Sometimes that's the only way you can describe these guys, is just by what they look like. There aren't really, you know, there aren't always names or things to go by. And this one did work, and I included videos of all of them working if they did. This I just picked up at an auction. It's a Lord of the Rings Middle-earth map 3,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, and I picked this up because my friends actually got me this same exact puzzle, and I would never sell the one they got for me. I am saving it to when I have a table big enough that I can leave out for a couple weeks so I can work on it, because it's basically just brown, just all brown pieces, and I think it's going to be super cool. If you can see it here, it'll be a really cool puzzle to put together. So I do have one of these that I'm saving my friends got me, so I knew it was valuable. And this also plays along to pricing, and, you know, being kind of, I'm not an expert on pricing, but like this guy, this is actually the highest sold you can really find of this puzzle right now, and that's just because I looked on Terapeak, and I think 5 or 6 had sold of this guy. All the highest price was $45, and that was completely sealed, not open box. And I just noticed that there's none listed, and none have really sold recently, so I just priced mine at $50, and I probably honestly could have got a little more, but you do have to look at scarcity of items, how frequently they're available, and look at what the subject matter is. Lord of the Rings is always going to be desirable. I might be biased because it's always desirable to me, but do look at that, and also the time of year. I know that this likely will probably be a Christmas present. Awesome Christmas present. That's how I got mine. And I paid $12 all in at an auction, so I didn't make a massive profit, but it's still a good profit, and it sold in 2 days. So that's telling me I probably could have priced it even a little bit more, but really happy with what I got. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. And this is showing, if you watched my last video, I showed you the Wedgwood tobacco jar that was the reverse of this, the white, the blue on the white. And this is the Wedgwood Blue Jasperware cigarette tobacco trinket lidded jar. And this one sold for a best offer of $28. So this one is not nearly as desirable as the other one because it's just more common. And I paid $2.50 at a thrift store for this on a half price day. Here is some more Polly Pocket. This is, I'm almost out of Polly Pockets, so you guys won't see much more. But I've considered making a Polly Pocket video because they're fun, and a Furby one, just because it's fun. This is a vintage Bluebird Mattel Polly Pocket Pull-Out Playhouse, 1991, 100% complete. And yeah, it had all the little figures. It was cool. It was like a little wardrobe. It had a little cupboard in the back. Really cool piece. Definitely a big one for Polly Pocket. Let me see if I have a ruler to show you. No, I don't have a ruler to show the size of this, but it was a big Polly Pocket. And here is one of the very valuable ones. Bluebird Polly Pocket 1995 Sparkling Mermaid Adventure Book. Complete and it lights up. That was a big factor for price too. Here's it lit up, and then it had all of its little pieces, which is a big deal for it. And it sold for a best offer of $130. And then just two little sales to end the day out, if they'll load. This is Thomas Harris, The Silence of the Lambs, 1988, first edition, first printing. I did talk about the Thomas Harris books, you know, Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs, in a book video. So this one sold for $39. I paid $5 for this at a sale. I probably could have waited a little bit more, but this is around the price right now. And prices are always fluctuating, but I could have probably waited it out. I have one of these in my own personal collection now, because I found two of them at that same sale, which was great. And then we're gonna end it with a wild little plush. Here's a Fuggler. If you haven't seen them, guys, they are, I mean, I would take Furbies over a Fuggler any day, but this is a Fuggler Funny Ugly Monster Spin Master 9-inch Maroon Suspicious Fox. And I don't believe they are making them anymore in the US, only Australia. I may be talking out of my tush, but I'm pretty sure that's true. And it sold for $16 on Mercari. These things are wild. I don't love them, but people really like them. And I pick them up when I see them. Like, here's just a close-up of his face. There you go. That's how we're gonna end the video, guys, just looking at his face. So thank you for joining me for all the parts of this video. If you didn't watch 1 and 2, they'll be linked in the description. Otherwise, I will see you on the next videos.